Going on, everybody? Welcome to the 11th episode of the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Brock. And today we will be talking about Beast-Rider and Vanity. Two classic characters.
Two big powerhouses from the first set.
Yes. The guys, the measuring stick of who is dominant in the GWF in 2087.
Yeah. It was race to the bottom between these two.
They're not that bad. There's some guys worse than them.
Yeah, Death Knight and Omega.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's it.
And our topic for the week is titles we've created.
Yep. Yeah, your titles you use in your feds.
Okay.
I always find that interesting.
Okay.
People use different titles and the names of titles and
cool. I have one that I'd like to talk about.
Yep.
We'll get there, I'm sure. Yeah, let's jump in because we ran long last week. So
yeah, with the Butcher clan.
The Butchers.
We'll start a timer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll pop in with Tarak. Or
right.
Actually, better known as Beast-Rider.
He was just Beast-Rider then. Nobody knew his name.
Yeah, he was teaming up with Renegade back then. I kept them together as that.
Same here.
He was a curtain jerker, a jobber. He did hold some titles for me. I remember him and Pulsar were a tag team. They got thrown together just as a fluke. So I can't even remember who the tag champs were, but they wanted an easy first defense. So it ended up Tarak and Pulsar were thrown together as a tag team, and they won.
Doesn't it always happen that way? It seems like I know whenever I try and set something up for some guy to just get demolished or a team to get demolished, they always end up winning. And then you're like, oh man, what do I do?
and the funny part is they held those titles for 5 cards and they lost every match by count out. Except for because Pulsar had a C ring and Beast-Rider had a C ring. And back then 10, 11, or 12 on out of the ring was a count out. Automatic loss.
Did you make a stipulation where they could lose the titles on a count out then?
No. Their final match they lost by pinfall. Somebody managed to keep them out and not throw them out of the ring.
Nice.
And then he did capture as Tarak, he captured the War Games singles title.
Okay.
Which was a bit of a fluke win. He did that for me, and the Galaxian title, which is my 2-point title. So he didn't capture it as Beast-Rider. But as Tarak, he captured a few singles titles. But as
he got a significant upgrade though from Beast-Rider to Tarak.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. For me, no. I had him feud Vanity a lot. Like seven years.
Wow.
Broken up. He started off with Vanity and ended with Vanity.
Nice.
The 3 years he won, he won the first one, lost the next 2, and then when he had been upgraded and Vanity had been upgraded, they went back at it.
Okay.
And he beat Vanity 3 out of 4 times there.
Wow. Yeah, I was just looking at their 2 cards side by side here, and they're. How long do these matches between these 2 guys usually take?
It can be futile because they couldn't. It was like slap fights. If you're trying to picture it, they're just trying to hurt each other, and no one can hurt each other, and no one can keep each other down. And
I guess the first person to get them on level 3 defense would probably win because there's not much going on there.
No. And as a tag team, Renegade and Beast-Rider were definitely enhancement.
Oh yeah, for sure. I liked
Renegade
them
was,
though.
yeah. Renegade was, was the better of the two, but, and as a manager, Beast-Rider, later on he becomes a manager, solid manager for me.
Yeah. I
But
always liked the character. Like they were designed to be losers, but they were guys that you wanted to see win.
Yep.
Which is cool.
That's why I think I kept him around. Like I kept Beast-Rider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 years.
Wow.
So I'm not too sure how long his career actually lasted.
Well, let's take a look.
Like his final 1-loss record, 25 wins, 70 losses.
Wow. It's pretty good.
So it was almost a 3-to-1 ratio.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. His wrestling career looks like it ended in 2108. Right now, he went to the CPC in 2109. When did he still wrestle, though? So he became a manager in 2100, it looks like, a full-time manager. Okay. So he kept around about as long as he should have been then.
Yeah, I enjoyed using him. He wasn't a jobber where I hated him.
Yeah. Let me pull up the color
wanted
picture here.
You wanted to see him win. You wanted to hopefully, if he went against somebody, I hoped he, would get a couple wins in. Not wins, but even a pin attempt was a moral victory for him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was not the toughest guy in the fight, for sure. But a fun character nonetheless.
Yeah, I did like I said, I really enjoyed using him. It was always a fun match. I knew, and if it was an upset, it was a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. I always got excited when he would win. Don't remember it happening very often, but I do remember rooting for him and for that chance, because it was always he just be a punching bag normally.
Yeah, like I said, when him and Pulsar won upset for those tag titles, it was huge. It just completely blew my mind. And then I'm like, oh my god, what are these guys going to do for defenses?
Yeah, good stuff.
Everybody's out of their weight class. Because I think they, I'm trying to even remember who they fought against. I think they might have been fighting the Henchmen for the Intergalaxian titles a couple times, and Comrade Terror's double out of the ring ended it.
Yep, that C rating, it sure would.
So it didn't matter which guy got in the ring. One of them was eating concrete and ending the match. But I've never had a champion, hold a title on for 5 times and lose every single match.
Every defense. That's great. So if you were to improve one thing on this card to make Beast-Rider better, which one thing would you choose?
It's so tough.
It is. I mean, you have to fix several things to make him competitive.
Yeah, like even dropping his pin, but then he's still got 3 downs and a pin.
Yeah.
He can't keep you down. His defense on level 2 is horrible.
Yeah. He's got a down there, 1 comeback. Yeah. He's got a dazed on there, though, on level 2.
Is it a Beast-Rider 2 or Beast-Rider 1?
It's a 2.
Yeah, okay.
You know what? I think I just give him a +3 finisher. give him the shot, the big shot to hit his big move.
And then what's his power agility? Aren't they both in the pluses?
He has a 0 agility and a +2 power.
Yeah.
And 7 cage rating.
That's livable. I would, just one thing I think I'd take away a down.
That would help. Would you take away one on level 2 or one of the 3 on level 3?
No, I'd take one of the ones on level 3.
Okay. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to give him a +3 finisher. If he's lucky enough to get you on, because his level 3 offense isn't horrible. He's got one level 2 move, choice H, and then he's got double death jump then on the old charts.
Yep.
Yep, I'm giving him a +3 finish.
That's kind of funny. He's the original Wildcat. That's where they got the name. That's where they got the idea from. Then.
Yep. So that's Beast-Rider.
The next would be
One of
Beast-Rider's
these
first feud and former friend, Vanity.
former buddy, Vanity.
This is who, in case if you don't know, this is who Ric Flair was based on.
Yes.
Tom based Vanity on Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm. Which I always played him that way too.
Yeah, for me, he was the because I like to base my wrestlers on real life wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of Ric Flair, I based him on Gorgeous George.
Okay. His stats don't live up to either one of those guys.
No,
but but as far as like persona, for sure, could either one of those guys would be a good match for Vanity.
Yeah, he was a great little character for me.
I loved him.
Yeah.
He was actually one of my favorites from the original 24. I've said that before on here.
I had a lot of fun with him. And I made a tag team of him and Death Knight. And I think I called them the Cosmic Pulverizers.
Yes.
Because like I've said before, when I would make a tag team from two different people that weren't normally a tag team, so I could remember who they were, I would combine their finishers.
Mm-hmm. He's got the Pulverizer.
Yeah, and Death Knight was the Cosmic Lance.
Mm-hmm. Pulverizer is a top rope elbow smash, if anybody's wondering.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was great. You know, you got this jobber guy with one of the coolest finishers in wrestling.
Uh-huh.
But he can only get a +1 out of it because he doesn't hit it that well.
Yeah. Well, he's got a C death jump rating, so what do you expect?
Yeah.
and a 0 agility. A 0 agility, you should be able to hit an elbow drop, though, right?
Yeah. Now, he did capture my lightweight title twice, so with all the +1 guys. And I don't have his 1-loss record down, but yeah, he lost almost every feud he was in.
He didn't have any success for me until Stud City came along and he teamed with Mr. Galaxy or the Awesome Studs. I pushed him hard though because I thought they were great.
I tried. The one thing I remember, and you know, Rob did it, and I stole the idea from Rob. Is when he gets his update,
Mm-hmm.
Rob had Vanity run down to ringside when Chaos was battling, and hit the Cosmic Stone, and he broke off just a little shard of it.
Uh-huh.
And Vanity swallowed it. And so he was imbued with the cosmic power, but just such the smallest little sliver.
That's great.
Yeah.
Here's the updated card you're talking about.
Yep. And then he became that Vanity. With just a little slightly better stats.
I like it. He upped his wardrobe too.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a lot going on here. He's got the gloves, the cool king cape.
That's the Killer Queen influence right there.
Yeah. Here's his original artwork colorized. A lot of purple.
The purple or more mauve.
Yeah. A good looking man. Vanity. Yeah, I love the Stud City tag team or the Awesome Studs, whichever they were first. I like those guys a lot.
I think there was Stud City first.
Okay. Yeah, I just like that. I enjoyed that tag team a lot.
Yeah, his tag team with Beauty and the Beast, I thought was an interesting tag team with.
Yeah, that
King
was fun
Cooper.
as well. Yeah. I just like this character a lot. Like, he's not going to win a whole lot, but I sure gave him the opportunities.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who, you know, we talked about this before, of wrestlers, you know, that didn't like using or couldn't get behind, or you know, for various reasons. But both these guys, even though they were, you know, opening jobber guys, people really liked them. Like, you don't have too many people going, "Oh, I hated Beast-Rider," or "I hated Vanity." They liked Vanity.
Yeah,
Vanity was such a colorful guy that, you know, you could imagine him, you know, getting beat up and squealing.
Yeah.
You know, complaining to the ref that his hair's pulled and.
Yeah, everyone's seen that guy in wrestling shows across the galaxy.
Yeah,
there's always that guy, and he's always the most entertaining on the card.
And Vanity was that guy. He was, you know, the name says it all.
Right. So, same challenge here with Vanity. Which stat on his original card would you change to make him better?
See, this is the tough part, is because I'm going off a 30-year memory, and you got the card in front of you. I really got to dig my sets out. He's got a plus. Yeah.
Can you see that?
I think I might.
He's got 4 downs on level 3 defense.
Yeah.
A hurt and a pin.
I might do what you did with Beast-Rider or Terra. Beast-Rider.
Beef up his finisher.
Yeah. You know, that's a Randy Macho Man Savage elbow smash. That deserves a higher rating than a +1. I'd knock that out to a +3.
I'm going to take out one of his downs just because that's excessive. I can't think of anybody else that is that bad on level 3 defense with only 1 hurt, the rest are downs and a pin.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I forgot he had 5 downs in total.
Yeah. It's crazy. He's got A ropes and C for everything else. He's only got a disqualification of 4, though, so he gets away with a lot.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
He's just the sneaky bad guy.
Yeah,
for him, I definitely, I forgot that he had in total 5 downs.
Yeah, he only has the 1 hurt. So he gets on to level 3 defense. He's toast. He is absolute toast.
Yeah, it's one of those things with these prelim guys. They were just bad.
Yeah, they were. They did okay against themselves, I guess, amongst the, you know. But that's
that's one thing interesting about the early set, because you had your top tier guys, your mid, and then your bottom. You had like 4 top level guys. You had 4 bottom level guys, and then you had like 16 guys in between.
Yeah, and if you think about wrestling in 1986 in the real world, that's how it was.
Yeah,
you had your superstars, you had your fall guys, and then you had everybody in the middle that kind of just, you know, stayed amongst themselves, and they had all the interesting feuds and all the good matches and stuff like that.
Yeah, you had your guys wrestling for the world titles. You had your guys wrestling for the TV title. And then you had your, you know, your guys that didn't get ring entrance music.
Right, they local talent. Here they are.
His name was Already in the Ring.
Yeah. Yeah. If he was lucky to get that.
Yeah. So yeah, they're in total they were both fun characters. I thoroughly enjoyed using them. They did have a great feud. I think that's why he kept it together. That for 6 years. Now it wasn't 6 years at once. It was broken up.
Yeah.
So I feuded him as Beast-Rider, Vanity, and then when they both got upgraded, they renewed their feud.
Cool.
And that was the only time Vanity won. Was against Beast-Rider and Tarak. Other than that, he lost to everyone else.
I think Vanity got an extra push in the Atkinson house because before we knew you could make bootleg characters, my dad had his E-Fed character of Troy Boy. I think he saw Troy Boy in Vanity.
Ah.
So I think that's why he got a bigger push here in our household.
Did you try teaming up Vanity and Vanity?
No. His name stayed the same.
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, if there was like a Vanity and Egomaniac or something like that, and an upgrade of them, I would have put them together for sure.
No, I did use Natural Man as a separate character.
Yeah, you said that a couple weeks ago.
I needed a couple extra jobbers, and I'm like, well, not even close to the same looking character.
No,
same gimmick. Not the same gimmick. Nothing. Natural Man's going to be and that Natural Man I think was better than the other two.
Here he is, if anybody's wondering.
It's a Bendis drawing.
Very, very heavily shaded drawing by Mr. Brian Michael Bendis. But yeah, that's the Natural Man.
Yeah. Friend of the Beast-Rider.
Yes. They were a tag team.
Yep. And they broke up. But we can head into our topic of the week.
Okay.
We're going to go titles. You said you had a title you wanted to chat about.
Yeah. Remember a couple years ago when the WWE had the wild card rule, where it was right after they did the brand split, they did the wild card where four wrestlers each show could go to either show. And at the same time, they introduced the 24/7 title. So I started running this title called the wild card title. And so you had to defend it at every card. If the Fed was running a show, you had to defend the title on the card. But each defense you got built towards something better. So when you got five successful defenses, you could hand the title over to the commissioner and cash in for like a TV title opportunity.
Oh, okay.
If you could have like 8 to 10 successful defenses, you can pick a partner and challenge for the tag titles. 15 defenses, you can cash in, trade it, and then you would have some kind of match to determine the new champion. You could challenge for the world title then after so many, like I think it was 15 successful defenses. So it was tough to do, but when you're fighting every card, it could act, you could get those defenses in quickly if you get on a little bit of a roll. But I might have to reintroduce that just for something new on the stream, maybe. But
in your GWF Fed, what titles do you use?
I just used the Interplanetary, Galaxian, Tag, and then I had a special matches title for a very brief time because I think that got stale for me.
Yeah, I did the heavy metal for a little while, and I'm like, I hate hardcore matches in real life. I hate it just as much in. But I found it interesting that you could really tell the guys who watch a lot of WWF.
Yeah.
Because their secondary title became the Interplanetary or the Intergalaxian. And like the Intercontinental. And the guys who didn't, had some other, like, the Black Hole title or the Milky Way title or, you could tell they were the NWA WCW fans. Yeah,
that's true, though. That's where you see the divide. But I think they said on the Uncharted Territories podcast that Galaxian isn't even a word. It should be galactic.
Yeah.
Which I find hilarious.
But it's one of because I run the 3 feds. So in my GWF, I have the Galaxian Championship, and I call it the Galaxian Championship. I don't call it the Galactic. I call it the Galaxian. I have my Intergalaxian. I have my TV title, and I have my GWF tag. I only have 4 titles in that promotion. And then in my NGA, I have the NGA Heavyweight Championship, and then the title just below that, I have the Iron Man title.
Okay.
So every match, there's no managers at ringside allowed, and it's 2 out of 3 falls.
Okay.
And then I have I'm trying to remember all my it's another version of a TV title for that promotion, which is a 3rd string. And then I have the Intergalaxian tag titles, or the NGA tag titles on that card.
Okay.
And then in my CPC, I have 6 titles, but 2 are for load card, and I call them the Milky Way titles now.
Okay.
So the 1 and 2 wrestlers, they go for the Milky Way titles. I have the the heavyweight, and then I have the CPC heavyweight and the CPC championship, which is the secondary title. And then instead of a TV title, I have a tournament title, and I think I got the idea from Rob Bobian.
Okay.
So whoever's the champion, you have to wrestle your way through a tournament.
That's cool. So you can't get the fluke victory. You actually have to. It's almost like the final boss, almost.
Yeah,
as
so,
the champion.
And you're in that tournament, but as a champion, you get to pick who's in the. And I rank 15 guys.
Oh, you set the bracket.
So yeah, you set the bracket and who you want to face, but once a guy's wrestled, you can't pick. If say Vanity would be on that list, you can't pick Vanity every time.
Okay,
so once a wrestler's been picked,
a bunch of jabronis.
He's out of the running. You have to pick a new guy. So sooner or later, the tougher guys are going to get in.
Mm-hmm. I like that idea. That's pretty cool.
And the other one in my NGA Fed, my second, I forgot. I try to run. I use experimental titles, and so the secondary title for them is called the Gauntlet Championship. That's what it was. It just slipped my mind at the moment. And it's the same thing. The champion picks 3 guys, and that guy has to wrestle his way through.
That's cool.
So you got and you keep your pin rating. So by the time you get all the way through,
you've earned it at that point.
Well, you only have to wrestle 2 guys, maybe even 1. So if you get a couple quick matches in, but I've had guys come in, they got a 9 pinfall. And they're taking on the champ who's fresh.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I just try to you try to keep things interesting with titles, I think.
Yeah, I have planned for my streaming stuff on Twitch with my bootleg fed a couple things that I want to attempt to do this year. Haven't really worked out the logistics of it, but I do want to try some new interesting titles. I want to do a streaming championship just because of it's being done on a stream.
Yeah,
I just got to figure out some kind of gimmick for that.
The which wrestler did that? He called it the
internet championship.
Yeah, the
Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
I always had an internet championship too, because whenever I started playing, it's like the birth of the internet. The late 90s.
Years ago, I held what was called because I actually ran like 5 or 6 different feds, but I broke them all down into smaller amounts. Like each fed only had like 20 guys. The GWF had like 40, and then I just ran a bunch of small feds.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a thing called the Solar Championship. And whoever won it would have to go to each promotion and defend it.
Nice.
And I got the idea from the old NWA days.
Yeah. It's a Flair did.
And that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And if they lost to one of those guys in the territories, then he went back. Say it was Alpha Force because he held it. He would go back to the GWF, but that other guy would continue the territory matches.
Okay, that's really cool.
And I didn't do a tag or anything like that, but I just did it for the heavyweight. And I was thinking of almost bringing it back.
Do it.
But I'm like, I got so many titles. That's
yeah, that does become a problem. It got to a point where I had too many titles where if you didn't have a title, then you just didn't really have any business being around, you know, because there was so many belts floating around. I had a 6-man title at one point.
Yeah, I did that.
Because it makes sense for this game because everybody's a part of a bigger team.
Yeah.
So you could, you know, it's easy to come up with 6-man tags constantly, but it just got too long.
I was thinking of doing that in my middle fed, or my lower tier fed, the CPC.
Yeah.
Just getting rid of the CPC tag and make it the CPC 6-man. Because that's what the NWA did with the Road Warriors. You know, they made them the 6-man tag champs because they didn't want to give them the.
They're just like one Dusty or
Sting,
all kinds of people. I had an idea for an anything goes title, which you would hate, where there's no gender, weight, or any other restrictions. Just call it the anything goes title, which I think TNA is doing now. I think they call it the Digital Media Championship, maybe. But anybody can challenge for it. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, I don't let my women wrestle the men. If they do, I follow that chart where they drop.
I don't think that chart exists anymore. I wonder if it's in the new Ringside Companion that's coming out.
Yeah, but I still have it. So on the odd occasion it has happened, which is super rare.
Yeah,
I follow that.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry, but you know, Amazonia is not going to do anything against Mayhem.
What about Vanity?
That's where you'd have to start booking it differently. Because I've had that argument with many times over with other bookers.
Yeah,
you know, that they have, you know, women wrestle men, and I had a chat online with one of the guys who actually just got signed to WWF, and you know, one of his best friends is a female wrestler, and he let her go over on it. And I'm looking at the match, I'm like, he had one of those punch fests where they're punching each other like 20 times in a brawl. And I'm like, after the match, I'm like, do you know how weak that made you look? He's like, why? And I'm like, because you just punched a girl in the head 10 times and it didn't do anything to her.
I hate that spot, by the way, where the two guys stand there and just exchange punches. Yeah. Like unprotected. Like, come on. They do that in AEW at least once a week.
I hate it. It just makes you look so weak. If you can't punch somebody in the head, you know, 5 times and they don't go down.
Yeah. And you stand there and let them punch you back. Back and forth punches. That's my least favorite spot in wrestling, that they do all the time.
Yeah. Chops I'm okay with. Punches.
Yeah. No. The chop's not going to knock you out.
No.
But a punch to the head should knock you out.
I learned that probably about 5 to 8 years into my career. Don't throw a bunch of punches. I can't even remember who told me. It might have been Joey Legend. He was watching one of my matches, and I let a guy, you know, do the whole 10 count on the top turnbuckle. He punches you, you know, do the count for the crowd. Yeah. He's like, man, he goes, nah. He's like, don't do that spot. He goes, because it makes you both look bad.
I always just keep counting after 10.
Yeah. You know, yeah. You fall down. He's like, but you know, you have no marks on your head. You know, you're not bleeding. He goes, if you punch somebody 10 times for real. Yeah. If somebody takes 10 unprotected punches to the top of the head or the face, it could probably kill them. Let's just be honest, you know. Yeah, it would be bad. I've taken some actual, you know, shoot punches. And, you know, 2-3 punches in, I'm bleeding.
Yeah. Yep, it's how it goes.
So that's why I don't, you know, and it falls back to that's why I don't have my men wrestle the women.
Yeah.
And I always said, if the woman's built like Nia Jax, you know, 6'2" or whatever and 300 pounds, that's an entirely different story.
Yeah, for sure.
But
For
if
sure.
you're Sasha Banks and 5'2" and 140 pounds, nope.
140. She's maybe 110. She's
Okay,
small. She's little. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Makes sense.
yeah. But those are the titles you use. You don't.
Yeah.
What about your GWF? You just got those couple.
Yeah, I kept it small because it got out of control for a little while. And then I kind of just unified all of them and then cut it down to those 3 or 4. Because I don't like playing tag team matches, I'll be honest. Because I think they get boring. And it's either they're boring and dragged out, or they end without one guy even getting into the ring.
Yeah.
Which I hate. So I don't play a lot of tag matches for that reason. I just, I don't know.
I've thought of actually doing that in one of my my NGA, my middle one, removing the tag team.
Mm-hmm. I like tag team wrestling though. That's the thing. It's just like something with the game. It just doesn't work well for me.
Yes, in real life, I love tag matches, and there's a lot of psychology in tag matches, and it took me a lot of years to learn it because I didn't do it often.
Yeah.
And every so often I'm thrown into one and it catches you off guard. And I'm like, you kind of know what to do, but because you don't do it on a regular basis. And I've tagged up probably 30 or 40 matches. And I've probably had 1,500 matches in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 30 of them were tag team. My longest tag partner was a guy named Kid Quick.
Less than 1%.
Yeah, Kid, and I wrestled with this guy Kid Quick probably about 10 times.
Wow.
And I remember I had a guy come up to me. We're talking. He's like, "Man, I remember when we tagged." And I'm like, "We tagged?"
Nice. It made an impression on him.
Like, but it was only for a weekend show, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
His name was the Outlaw something, and I'm like, I vaguely remember that now. When he's talking about the match, I'm like, okay, yeah. But it happens if you don't do it, and you have to learn the psychology behind it.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you play the game with that psychology in mind, you can have a fun tag team match. You just have to be willing to play it out.
Yeah. And that's why I think I when we talked about last episode, where you make your own teams, because some teams you look at it on paper and you're like I'm using Raven and Dregs right now. I'm like, this team's going to dominate. I'm not having a lot of luck with them.
Yeah.
As a tag team, no, they're not working out. But then, like I said, I had a Mason Jack of Diamonds. They're killing it.
Yeah. Chemistry, man.
And you don't know why. You look at it and you're like, this probably shouldn't work. But it works. Like, Mace has that massive finisher. Jack of Diamonds has a double finisher. And they're both decently defensively and offensively. They can just gel as a team. But you have that every so often where you're like, these guys, in theory should work. And they won't, or they don't.
Yeah. I'm going to up my tag team game. Now, after this conversation, I'm going to try and play out more entertaining tag team matches.
Like, who was it? The first tag team the game had, like actual tag team tag finishers. The Annie-Man of Andromeda.
Yeah.
I love those guys. They might have captured my tag title maybe twice. Once, maybe twice. And I thought Battering Ram was a much better wrestler than Iron Maiden, but Iron Maiden and Incredible Badger did a lot more.
Yeah. Badger was so cool.
And Badger's one of the few guys to hold multiple titles for me at once.
I'm just looking at him right now.
Yeah, but you know, as a tag team, you're like, hey, these guys should be great, and they did good. You know, the double finisher, the +3-0.
Mm-hmm.
That, yeah, nobody had that back then. It was a
No.
double finisher.
Yeah. If they had a double finisher, they usually both 0.
You know, a drum and a drop, burrow blast, a drum and a drop, burrow blast. Right. You'd hit that so many times.
Uh-huh.
+3-0.
It's good stuff. Those classic characters just have such a place in my heart. No, you know, it's just, I don't think it'll ever be duplicated.
No, and battering ram, what was he? -3, -1.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a solid, tough guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He captured my heavyweight title once. But
Cool.
like I said, you know, another story for another day.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind breaking tag guys up to try other things with
Yeah.
them, like Spike and Massacre. They were, I think I called them the Aethrin Raiders,
Mm-hmm.
and I think their final record was like 19-3.
Wow. That's impressive.
And
yeah, like we said last week, Spike is a significant upgrade over Brute.
Oh yeah. And the greatest tag team I ever had was put together by Paul Barnes. And it was Massive and Pulsar Prime. And I think they finished off with something like a 27-2 record.
Wow.
They just,
Pulsar Prime is underrated.
they just clicked
Mm-hmm.
as a tag team. Like Massive defense. You know, Prime comes in and swaps it around. You know, Massive can put them down and Prime comes in.
Yeah.
It's how you use your tag team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would usually start Massive on 1 and then 2. Because if he got hurt, you know, odds are you're going to roll a Massive name because he had, out of those 12 rolls, I think 8 were names.
Yeah, he was pretty good at that. For sure.
He's coming back.
Yeah, that's a classic like tag team trope too, of the big guy and the high flyer.
Well, I even, because Paul based him on Hercules Hernandez and Paul Roma.
Okay. Power and Glory.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I called them.
Nice.
So yeah, I should have been talking about them last episode.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Just make.
Yeah, it's all right. People listen to all of these. They don't want to miss a word.
Yeah, we're in our 40-minute mark, so we're probably getting close to the end here.
Yep. We can go ahead and wrap this up. We'll say a couple shout outs to other guys who are doing similar media. The official Filsinger Games podcast, Roll Up. The Legends Teams podcast, Uncharted Territory. And Grant's GWF Promoter on YouTube. All links to these things are in the description below. So go ahead and check those out. But before you do that, please click the like button and the subscribe button and turn on the little bell so you get notifications whenever we post a new video, which we're pretty steady with going every Monday at noon. I have them scheduled to go out. So keep an eye on that. And if you have any fun titles that you've created in your feds that you think you'd like us to know about, please drop a comment and tell us about it. We'll maybe implement them in our feds.
Yeah, and when we post this on the Filsinger page or even down below, you think you want to join us for a wrestler, we'll be finishing up the first wrestlers in a little bit, and we're going to start going into the second invasion. Yes,
we're close to finishing the starter set. So
we know we cheated a bit with Splatter and Creeper.
Mm-hmm. We were going for a theme with those.
Yeah, you know, we did the Blood Brothers and Creature feature theme, so we figured they worked well together. So we kind of upped it. They're so close.
Yeah, they are.
It's not like we're taking Chaos suddenly dropping them into here,
right? Or Endgame or something. But we'll get to them eventually in about 13 years. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. And again, subscribe, share, tell your friends, leave a comment. And we will see you next week.
Bye from Canada.
Bye from Pittsburgh. I can't. I don't want to report the score because it's close. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.